So Axe score. Axe score is multiple things. We have Axe for HTML, which is called Axe score. We have Axe for Android, and then we have the Axe Pro beta, right? These are open source rule libraries. The first two are open source rule libraries. And many of you are most familiar, because it's been around the longest, with the Axe HTML, Axe Score HTML. What we're going to be focusing on in this session is HTML. So, let's look at that. We feel developers have been making great strides in accessibility automation, starting with what we see as 200,000 weekly Axe Score downloads, which have now become 1 million weekly downloads. So if you go to NPM, you're going to see that 1 million weekly Axe Score downloads. And we're very grateful for that, because that means it's a thriving, active, open source project with a lot of contributors, a lot of people putting attention on the rules. And what that means to you, people who use Axe Score, is that you're going to get quality rules. Total, over time, there've been 30 million downloads. And, again, this really signifies the quality of the rules, the feedback that we're getting, and what that translates to you, what it translates for you, is that you get to get these fantastic rules that have been vetted by many, many experts. So what do you have to do to get people to use Axe? To get your dev teams to use Axe, they have to download it from the Chrome store, the Firefox store. And then all they have to do is open up the DevTools and hit Analyze. It's as simple as that. For those of you who have not ever used Axe, I'm going to show you how to do that. It also helps you, gives you additional information, lets you go and inspect the code, highlights it, lets you basically then look through some remediation options and fix it. Developers love doing that and seeing the results instantaneously, and they can do that. And this is the browser extension that I'm going to be showing, not the API. So, but let's assume your developers have become super conversant with Axe, and you get this congratulatory message with an Axe browser extension that says 0 issues, 0 automated issues are found. That means you guys, around 50% of your issues by volume are taken care of, around, give or take, right? So what do you do now? What next? We know that you're not fully there yet. There's manual testing to be done. So what can we do to help is what I asked. A few years ago, I said, this is great. We're getting a lot of adoption of Axe, but I want people to be able to really, the end goal is that somebody with a disability should be able to use the website without having critical and serious barriers. Then we will want to progress to less serious issues, but let's at least get the critical and serious issues addressed. Let's give them tools to do that. All right, so then we introduce the concept in our browser extension in the enterprise version, not the free version, that extends the Axe functionality and adds some manual testing capability. And how we decided to do that in this extension is that we understood expert knowledge is required to find the 50% that Axe does not by volume. And this is an average, okay? Now, if we could expose some semantic information on the web, it would make the manual testing process much easier than just following a list of instructions. So we created something called Page Insights that helps with manual testing. Then we also realized there are things, even if you expose the semantic information on the page, there are other things that are much more complicated to test. For example, modals. You cannot expose semantic information and expect people to be able to test a modal dialog in terms of whether it's got a keyboard trap, whether the focus is properly being shifted back and forth. So we knew that there was additional work that we had to do, and because of that, we created the Axe Pro Beta, which is the intelligent guided testing rather than the expert manual testing exposed by semantic information. So the whole premise of Axe was that you're going to be able to create accessible web content with confidence and with ease. It's not going to be too difficult to do. You're not going to have to spend 3 hours doing a manual test on every page. We want to reduce it and make it more accessible to developers, right? Accessibility, make accessibility more accessible to developers. So with the free Axe, you are getting 0 false positive automated tests. That's the manifesto of Axe, and it's been something that we have been really focused on because we feel that anytime a developer sees noise, they tune out. If they see a false positive, they're going to say, can I trust this tool? Or it's going to waste my time. We did decide to include, help for developers to be able to fix the issues, not just find the issues, but the goal is to fix issues, right? The goal is not just to keep reporting, it's to be able to fix issues and make the mission of digital equality a reality. And what I've used recently, which has really resonated with people, is that we want to eliminate digital apartheid, okay? Then if you move on to Axe Pro Beta, which is free, it's not open source, but it's free for now and for the extended, a period that we can see for the foreseeable future. What you do is you really have, when you start using Axe Pro Beta, you volunteer to give us information for our machine learning algorithms. So you can opt out, but obviously you lose some functionality if you opt out. In that Axe Pro Beta, we have the intelligent guided tests, which I'm going to be demonstrating today. You don't have the expert tools, which is a part of the enterprise solution. It's again in the browser extension. We call it a test browser extension. We are going to be renaming it soon, but stay tuned for that announcement. But that is the WorldSpace Attest browser extension, and you have the expert tools that I'm going to be demonstrating in that as well. Okay, so let's get into the demo. Can everybody see a browser with some delicious recipes?
Yep, coming in clear.
Okay, great. So this is a website that we've created to be able to demonstrate, a problem, right? So I'm going to actually get out of my dev tool so that I can show you from the very beginning how this would work. This is an intentionally broken website. And it's made with modern technologies like React. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to open up my dev toolbars. And I'm going to select Axe, just run Axe, the browser extension, right? And I'm going to say, remember I told you it's as simple as saying analyze, but I'm going to analyze. Oh, it found 12 issues. Let me look at this. So I'm looking at this and it's telling me the color contrast between the foreground and background colors doesn't meet the contrast ratio, which is the threshold in WCAG 2.0. And I go, okay, what's the problem? And I see, I've used the background color white and then this green color, which is not really meeting the color contrast ratio. What can I do to fix it? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to inspect the node. When I inspect the node, I'm going to see this is the offending color. And I want to be able to use something actually here. I'm going to pull up a tool that Deque has published, which is a color palette, I can analyze colors, and I've already stuck the values in here, and it's made a suggestion. So the two colors I stuck was the color that is the offending color, 76BF98, and the background color as white, FFFFFF. And that's all I did. And it went and did the analysis, and it said it failed. The same color contrast it showed, the ratio that it showed in AX, it's showing up in this color contrast checker. And it's making a suggestion to fix it. So I'm going to say, yeah, that looks pretty good, actually. It's not too bad. It looks nice. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make this fix in this class. And I've gone ahead and plugged that in. And then I'm going to go back to AX and I'm going to rerun this test. And what I should find is that I've taken care of 4 of the color contrast issues, which I have. And it really doesn't look too bad. So I'm happy. And as a developer, what AX could help me with, I'm done. I feel pretty good. All right. But I'd like to do more. And how good is this or how bad is this? I need some semantic information to go a little further. What we decided to do is really look at the most important ones and add them to our worldspace attest, to be renamed, but worldspace attest browser extension, which you can get by upgrading to a paid product, basically. And you get the same functionality that you saw with AX, the automated testing, identical rules. You see that I've gotten rid of the 4 violations. But then I'm going to go here and I'm going to select something called Page Insights. All right. Now, Page Insights is that manual testing helper, the expert mode, which is not really that expert actually, but it's revealing all the semantic information so I can go quickly and check whether I've got problems or not. Now, for example, in the heading tool, it tells you what checkpoints it covers, but most importantly, it's telling you what to look for. Is a heading empty? That's a problem, okay? Is the heading not a heading or not meant to be a heading, but marked up as a heading? That's a problem. Are headings marked up at the same level, but really should be at a different level because, is a heading 2 different than a heading 3? It should be, but you've marked up something that should be a heading 3 as a heading 2. It's going to highlight that. And if there are no headings, then that's a problem as well. There should be at least 1 heading. So let's see, there are 5 headings in this page. The first one is the recipe dashboard marked up as an H1. It's showing me that. And obviously all of this information is fully accessible as well. And I say, oh, that's pretty good. Okay, quickly, let's go down. Oh, that's interesting. It's a heading 2, and that looks okay in terms of the level. But look at the accessible text being displayed. I don't like that. It says decorative icon, 9 eggs used. Right away, I can tell I've got a problem here. And then this one here, yeah, that looks pretty okay. That's fine. But these 3 up here are a problem, and I need to be able to go fix them. So I'll be able to make a note of that. Links, same thing. There's 1 link. Skip to main content is the accessible text. Looks pretty good to me. I can get done with my link testing to see if there are any ambiguous links, anything that is not clear where the destination should be, if it's in a data table, whether it reads correctly with the header cells. And, it's really simple for me to finish link testing. I go to lists, same thing. It's saying if a list is not supposed to be a list, but marked up as a list, fix that. If something should be a list, but is not contained within a list, that's a problem. And then finally, it's saying that you may have left out an element out of the list. Supposing you have a list of 5 items, ordered list of 5 items, and number 5 is outside the, OLLI tag or outside the OL tag. It'll help you figure all of that out this quickly. So you see, I've got UL with 1 item, awesome recipes. Yeah, that's okay. It's not really a list. I may want to fix that. Okay. 50 average, where is this now? Okay, it's a UL with 6 items. Okay, that's fine. That's pretty good. Nothing problematic there. Images. I want to quickly look at my images and what do I see? I see the accessible text here. And it's going to say that is this alternative text, is this accessible text meaningful? Does it match and describe the image? Well, look at this. Decorative icon. Well, if it's eye candy, I should give it a null value. It should be empty, the accessible text. It shouldn't say decorative icon because that doesn't really do much for a user, using a screen reader. No, not really. So I think that's a problem. Then I look at this and I look at edit, 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 edit. This seems to be a problem. Shouldn't the image accessible text be a little bit clearer? Edit what? Okay, this one should be edit chocolate cake. That would be nice. I would know what I'm editing, right? This one should be edit mom's spaghetti. Anybody getting hungry? Well, so right away I can tell this is a problem. In this case, the picture of the chocolate cake is empty, and that may be okay because unless I want to describe the chocolate cake and make it more yummy to everybody, I might choose to do that, or I might not because it is saying chocolate cake right beneath. So quickly, I've gone and tested my images. I can test the focus. Any focusable elements, I can tab back and forth and see what is the accessible text. So here I am. I'm going to start tabbing. And I can see the accessible text. Edit, edit, cook filet mignon. That looks pretty good. I can go shift tab. Is it going to the right place? I know that's a problem, the edit, but I'll fix that. Fine. Cook mom spaghetti looks good. Edit looks, well, not so good, but we'll fix that. I know. Cook chocolate cake is good. And I'll be able to quickly see anything that is focusable on this page, whether it has the right accessible text or not, and finish my testing quite quickly with this semantic information being exposed to me. Same with frames. I don't find any frames. That's great. Right away, I know I don't have any problem. No objects. Landmarks, I do find 2. Okay, let's highlight all. Since there are only 2 and there's a banner and there's a main, this looks great, so I'm good. And there is no autocomplete tool. If there was, then it would do additional testing. So this is a very quick way to get additional coverage of a handful of checkpoints. You can see they're highlighted 2 here, 1 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So 12 additional checkpoints are covered now with this expert semantic tool that you can get in the WorldSpace Attest browser.
Hey, Preety, real quick. You mind expanding your browser to full screen so people can see the tools that you're clicking on? It's just a little hard to see right now.
Oh, sure. Sorry about that.
No worries. Thank you.
Is this better?
That looks much better to me, yes.
Is that better? Sorry about that. So let me go through them since you couldn't see them. We went through the headings tool. We went through the links tool. We went through the list tool. We went through the images tool, the focus tool, the frames tool, objects, landmarks, and autocomplete tool. If you want me to repeat anything, I'd be happy to do that. I think we're making good time, so I can repeat. If anybody couldn't see anything, just let me know. All right, anything in the chat, you can let me know, Laura.
Yep, will do. Looks good right now.
Great. So this was my way of doing some additional testing in an expert mode using WorldSpace Attest page insights. Really useful. And what I find really useful actually is the instructions right here. So you don't miss anything, and these instructions, by the way, have been boiled down to the bare minimum. Writing is easy, editing is hard. So we really took the instructions that were like few pages long in different tools as well as WorkAg, W3C, and condensed it to the bare minimum. So it's easy for you to do this. All right, so now I'm going to get into showing you the same test being done in the other mode that we talked about, which is the
Hey, Preety.
Axe Pro mode. Yeah.
Real quick before you jump into that, do you mind going over the headings and the focus one more time?
Sure.
Thank
So
you.
before we get into the intelligent guided testing, we're going to do this again. I'm back into the broken site, and I'm now highlighting the headings tool. And what it's done is highlighted all the headings on the page, and I can quickly see whether the headings are at a right level by highlighting them all, one at a time. Yep, seeing if there's any empty heading or if the heading accessible text is wrong, right? And then we also want to see whether the heading describes the content below. So here it says 9 eggs used. You know, maybe I shouldn't have, there's no content underneath it. Maybe I shouldn't make it a heading. That's up to the design team. If they said make it a heading, their decision. It's not bad that it's a heading, but you know, it should adequately describe the content underneath a heading usually. I wouldn't have made it a heading, but anyway. So, but it's a main content, so maybe it's okay. But in this case, this is what the designer decided to do and pass on. And right away, I can tell the fact it says decorative icon 9 eggs used is not a good heading. I can also see, is there something on this page that should be marked up as a heading that is not? Well, chocolate cake, mom spaghetti, filet mignon, all the recipe names could be marked up as headings because they really precede the rest of the stuff, information that relates to them. So maybe this designer or the developer should mark up the names of the recipes as headings, and they're not marked up. So I saw another problem right now as I was inspecting it. The instructions tell you this, okay? If any of the headings are with empty accessible text, that's a problem. If any of them is a heading, but not marked up as a heading, that's a problem. I can see by highlighting all that none of the chocolate cake or the recipe names are not marked up as a heading, and I might decide to make that a heading. I see that as a problem. Then, you know, it also says if it's it should be at a different level. If things are of a certain importance, but are marked up differently, that's a problem. That means if you mark up chocolate cake as a heading level 3, and then you mark up mom's spaghetti as heading level 2, that would be a problem. In this case, I see the fact they're missing headings as a problem. I don't see the weight of the headings as a problem. Then it also tells you that, well, we've already covered that, heading on the page that is not highlighted, that's a problem. Well, I do see a few, in my opinion. So that's the headings tool, focus tool. Let's go over the focus tool. What I'm doing in the focus, what I'm saying is the element that has focus in this page, the accessible text corresponding to that active element will be highlighted and exposed to you. That semantic information will be exposed to you, which is really important because you can quickly go through all the active elements on this page and make sure that they get focus to begin with, you know, because if you're tabbing and something is missing the focus, that's a problem. And then you have to do the same using Shift Tab. You can also tell where the focus indicator is there. And then you can tell whether the accessible text is right. So I just quickly tab through everything. Now I'm shift tabbing, cook lemon squares. That is pretty good for that button. Did I miss? Okay, now it's in the edit. That's terrible. We talked about that earlier. Cook grilled cheese. Yes, that's in the focus order. Yep, all active elements seem to be working, going backward and forward. And awesome recipes, which is great. Did I miss something? Okay, nope. Seems to be pretty good. Yeah. So that's how I would say, yep, I either pass the focus or I don't. I'm going to do one more quick test. Okay. As I come into this website and start tabbing, okay, awesome recipes, edit. Okay, so it's good. I was right. The only problem at this time that I see with the accessible text of the active elements is that it's using the word edit repeatedly. That's a problem. I need to fix that. All right. Laura, can I continue?
Yep, go for it.
Okay, great. Now I'm going to, if I wanted to make the fixes, I've gone ahead and made the fixes, and I'm going to just go back and look at page insights again. Going to look at the heading tool. Okay, my fixes worked. Now it doesn't say icon 9 eggs used, decorative icon 10 recipes made. It doesn't say all of that. And I went ahead and marked up the chocolate cake as a heading, mom spaghetti as a heading. Oh, much better. This is so much better. Okay, so now the developer knows and can validate their work and see everything that they did was actually fixed. And in this case, I'm very happy that I went back and marked up the chocolate cake, mom's spaghetti, filet mignon as a heading level 3. So yeah, I've also fixed the decorative icon. I'm very happy. Validation done. Okay, now what I'm going to do is say there are things that the semantic tool really helped me a lot, but it didn't help. This is still not going to help me with the more complicated modal testing. What can I do there? And other complicated tests. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Axe Pro. I'm going to sign in. I see my dashboard. I'm going to test a new web page. And it tells me to navigate to the site in this window. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to cut and paste this. And I'm going to just simply insert it here. Great. And it says, get ready to test. Put the site in the state you wish to test it in and return back to the previous tab. Okay. If you want to scope the test, you can do that and we can come back and do that, but I don't want to. I want the whole thing. Okay. So I go ready. I'm ready to test. Take me there. It picks up the title of the page. That's a problem. That's not a very good page title. So I'm going to instead say broken recipe dashboard. Much better. Now I know what I'm testing. I'm going to save it. It runs the same test that we ran earlier, finds the same 12 issues. In this case, it's testing a version that I haven't yet committed my fixes to, so fine. I know I fixed those 4 color contrast issues. I can quickly go see what were the major ones. Yeah, I fixed those major ones, critical ones. Oh, okay, that's a problem. Okay, I'll go and fix that. That's fine. That's an easy fix. I'm not going to worry about that. What I'm really interested in doing is testing my modal. Okay, and here I'm going to say, it tells me, open up your dev toolbar and start testing. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the axe extension and I'm going to say start. Yep, this is the state it should be in. I'm good. Start testing. It is asking me a question. Does the modal you would like to test have a button which launches it? Yeah, I know my app. Yes, it does. So I'm going to say, yes, my modal has a launcher. It's going to say, please select the launcher trigger of the modal you would like to test. Yep, I can do that. And you can do that with an element selector if for a more accessible experience, but I'm going to select this and I'm going to say, great. Oh, I didn't select it. Okay, let's try it again. Yep, selected this time. I'm going to say next. Now it's automatically invoking the modal and it said modal detection is complete. I'm going to say next. And it's running modal checks. There are quite a few modal checks that you have to do as a manual tester, and it's running all of those. Now it's asking a question. Oh, the automated focus trap checks are complete. Wonderful. So I don't have a keyboard trap in this? That's great. Or maybe I do. I don't know. Let's find out. Can this modal be dismissed or closed? Yeah, it's got a close button. Of course I can do that. I'm saying yes. And it's also got the X on the top hand side. Yep. Okay, it's completed the closing of the modal. Let's see. The fact that it can be done with an escape key, not just the mouse, was tested. We detected that the focus moved to the highlighted element. Is this element a logical element to focus when the modal is dismissed or closed? Yeah, it's not a bad choice, but I would really like to move it to, it's okay. I don't think it's a bad choice. I've dismissed the modal. I'm back to that. Although I could take it to the cook filet mignon. Let's say no, it's not right. I want it to go advance to the next element. Okay? So when the modal or similar element is closed, focus is not returned to the triggering element. I'm going to say highlight. Okay, it should return to that, inspect, and then it tells you on DQU what to do. That's pretty good. All right. No, I'm still doing some testing here. So I'm going to say finish. And that's it. I'm done with testing this modal. Let's see what I found out. It says 8 guided tests were done. Well, no, actually, what does it say? Oh, it was saved successfully. Great. What are we analyzing? Let's go look. 1 issue found. After doing all the modal testing, it found 1 issue. And that probably, when the modal is closed, focus is not returned to the trigger. Actually, I answered that question wrong. It was. I'm going to do this again. That's not right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I don't like this. I made a mistake. I'm going to clear the test results. You can do that very easily. Now you can test the ARIA modal again. So let's do this again because I made a mistake. Okay, let's start. Do the same thing. Yes. I'm going to select the field. Same one. Okay, nope, it didn't work. Let's do it again. Okay, done. Next. Open the modal, looking good. Done. No traps, fine. Yes, it can be dismissed. Okay. Okay, now this is where I made the mistake. Yeah, you know what? I remember now. You're supposed to return the focus to the element that triggered it. Fine. That's my choice. That was my design choice. It's the way that our company wants it to be done. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. Yes. Yep. I can see it is the right element. I made a mistake. All right. You know what? I have successfully verified that I've coded my modal correctly. It's got no keyboard traps. You can use a keyboard to dismiss the modal and the focus returns to the right place. This is fantastic. I feel pretty good. And I'm done. And then I can go back and I can see the result. And it says it's 100% complete with 0 issues found. And a modal test can take a long time. And I'm slow at this because I'm not I've used it for the first time, believe it or not. So pretty easy. Took a few minutes and my modal testing is done. All right, it was 1 minute actually spent testing. It even tells me that. That's not too bad. A minute to, test a modal, that's pretty good. Normally, when I test a modal, it'll take me, I will go in, I will have to escape, yeah. I'll have to make sure 3, 4, 5 minutes maybe. So I think that's a time saving and that's it. I'm done with the demos. Questions? We want to keep this open to questions.
Yes, I do have a few questions here in the Q&A. The first one asks can you expand on the difference between WorldSpace Attest and the Axe Pro beta?
Great question. It is confusing and we're trying to get this right for everybody to make it super simple. So WorldSpace Axe, open source. The tool that I ran when I said analyze, that's what it was. The Axe Pro is like a playground where we are testing features to see which features you will find useful. We take those useful features and we migrate those we leave them available. The playground is still there because we're constantly testing and we're getting that machine learning data from you. But then the ones that you give us great feedback on, we also migrate over to the WorldSpace Attest, which is going to be rebranded in the coming days right now, which is a paid product. Now the paid product has your Axe Pro features that you just saw included in it. It's also got the Page Insights feature that you saw included in it. So it's got both. And of course, it's got the support and the security that enterprises need.
Great, thanks, Preety. Another question here, is there a way to export all the essential accessible information, the ones you are viewing in the tool, to Excel or Word doc all at once, so that the dev or Q&A have another way to examine the details? Yeah.
I don't know, let's check it out. Are you talking about this semantic information?
I believe they were talking about Axe.
Okay, can you clarify, because I'm not sure what information you mean.
We'll wait for them to clarify. The next question is, Axe Pro available in Firefox, or is it just for Chrome at the moment?
Axe Pro is right now for Chrome.
Yes, great, thank you. Another question, if we use the Attest plugin in Axe Pro, can all automated and manual testing be performed in these two tools? When can these tools integrate with JAWS?
Okay, let's take it one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Can we do a lot of the manual testing using these two tools? Yes. Can we do all? No. We are constantly adding tools to both of the page insights, which is the semantic information being exposed, as well as to Axe Pro. So we'll continue to expand our coverage of WorkAg. Over time, we will add tools and we continue to do that. In terms of integration with JAWS, I mean, I don't know what you mean. JAWS is a screen reader assistive technology, and it is one AT out there, one assistive technology out there. So, I mean, rather than a developer using a screen reader, we are giving this information. And it's semantic information that is being derived from the code as opposed to from one single assistive technology. Because you've got voiceover, you've got NVDA, and you've got JAWS. People use different assistive technology screen readers. So we really want to get the semantic information from the code and not what one screen reader is displaying. But would love to hear the idea of how you think this would be useful with JAWS.
Great. And a clarification for the question that asked, is there a way to export the accessible information that was referring to Axe Pro? And there is an option to export test results in Word and Excel.
Not in Word. These in Axe Pro, you
Mm-hmm.
have the option of exporting issues, and you can do it in JSON or you can do it in CSV.
Thank you.
Sure.
Last call for questions. Okay, it looks like we got to them all. If you know any come in the last second here, I'll be sure to pass them along to Preety to answer offline via email. But I want to thank you all for attending today's session, and I hope you have a great rest of your Friday and a great weekend coming up.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.
Thank you. Stay well. Bye.
Take care.